TandLers. We're gearing up to launch Season 2 of TandL Talks, and it's going to be an incredible year of learning together. While you wait, here's one episode from Season 1 worth a replay, our conversation with Shari Bakke, first grade teacher at Meeker Elementary. In this conversation, she shares practical strategies for thoughtful planning, smooth transitions, building independence, and empowering students to take ownership of their learning. You'll hear stories about the small but powerful routines like timers, cues, and daily jobs that keep her classroom moving without wasted minutes. You'll also hear how she uses transitions, not just as a way to get from here to there, but as purposeful resets that keep students engaged and ready to learn. Whether you're a new teacher looking for day one strategies or a veteran teacher who wants a fresh reminder of what's possible, Shari offers both inspiration and concrete takeaways that you can implement immediately. If you're looking for inspiration to kick off the year strong, this episode is a must listen. I'd like to welcome Shari Bakke to TandL Talks. Shari is a first grade teacher at Meeker Elementary, and she does a great job at maximizing instructional time. So welcome, Shari. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you, Nancy.
So first, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, let's see. I've been in the Puyallup School District. This would be my 21st year. Did a 7-year stint prior to Puyallup in Tacoma at Browns Point Elementary, where I got to start as a half-day K teacher and then jump into the tuition-based kindergarten at the time. So jumped into full-day kindergarten years ago and then transferred to Puyallup. I've spent time at Fairgrove, Northwood, and now at Meeker.
I started my career at Fairgrove. Everybody has a Fairgrove connection, right? It's like 6 degrees of separation with Fairgrove.
That's true.
Yep. So, Shari, tell us, what's one strategy you use to ensure that every instructional minute in your classroom counts?
I know, I was thinking about this. I try to be a really thoughtful planner. So when I'm sitting down and looking at the next week and the minutes, I just try to be really mindful of how long the lesson's going to go and what I want to follow it. I also work really hard to maximize differentiation throughout it, so that, for example, when we start our whole group ELA lesson, knowing that when we leave that whole group, my independent learners are coming along my higher strategic, whereas I can work with my lower strategic and intensive to be successful. So I feel like that continues to maximize, because then all the kids are getting what they need to be successful after the whole group lesson has occurred.
My guess is too that you probably do a lot of work with teaching your students up front how to be independent, doing those things, right?
Yes, yes, and just letting them take ownership of their learning, and then setting up an environment that allows them that empowerment at the same time.
Great.
Yeah.
So can you think of a small but impactful change that you've made to increase time and efficiency in your classroom?
Yeah, so a couple things I do, like we'll start at the carpet and we'll all have our readers, and just to build like routine and what's the word? Habits for my kids that become natural. So like when we're done reading, they'll hear like just cues from me, like close your reader, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then they know their reader's on the ground or under them. They're ready for the next instruction. Funny story, the other week, I use a magnetic timer on my whiteboard, and specifically for Writer's Workshop, I always set it for their student writing time. And we had a bit of a mishap, and it fell and it broke last week. But one of my students went home and was very concerned that we did not have a timer no longer for Writer's Workshop, and asked her parents to replace it. And those are the kind of like habits that we form in the room, that they become very important to my kids as well. So yeah, for sure, verbal cues, and using timers, and any way that I can give more responsibility on them with the environment and the manage of it, more than me having to always manage the environment. But yeah,
That's such a great example, too, of an executive functioning skill that kids will take with them. And, you know, that's a great skill, that using a timer that they can use when they're high school kids and grown-ups in work. I do that when I have to do evaluations. When it's crunch time, I'll set a timer for myself. I've got to get through this much at this time. That's just a great strategy that they'll use forever and ever. So, I love that.
Thank you.
So you've talked a little bit about this, but is there anything else you want to say about how you manage transitions to avoid lost time?
Yeah, I was having a conversation actually with my cell host about it, because a lot of people find transitions hard or time consuming. I enjoy transitions and making them such a part of my day that they become physical resets. And so that's what I think of every transition. So from the minute we're starting at the carpet, a physical reset to making a morning meeting circle, and then a physical reset back to maybe a read aloud. And then, getting them off the carpet to get their readers, coming back to the carpet. So when I am planning, I'm also planning those intentional body breaks or resets for them, so that it doesn't become something added extra that I'm having to put on a mindful moment, like purposeful break, but I'm just building them into our day, where we've been at the carpet for this long. I know that I can't jump into another carpet activity. I've got to get them moving before I ask them to attend for something else. That is probably, it's something I think that you have to intentionally plan along with your skills and concepts and delivery of instruction of reading, math, social studies, science. But also, I have daily jobs that change every day. And one thing I do too is my kids, the line leader lines up for first recess. The end of line person lines up for second recess. And it changes every day, but it takes that responsibility away from me. And even those transitions just become empowering to the kids, showing respect to each other. They're in charge. It allows me to quickly help a child wrap something up while they're getting ready to line up for recess. So that's something that I enjoy giving my kids ownership to in the process.
I love thinking of that as a reset. Yeah. So, Shari, can you think of a classroom time waster and how you have worked to minimize it? There are tons of things that can sort of derail you.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. I'd say number one, being that my classroom is across from the bathrooms, work avoidance or bathroom breaks. So I purposely, it's one girl, one boy. It can't be social hour. I try to be really mindful of who's asked, when they've asked, which is something you have to teach yourself to pay attention to. But yeah, any kind of work avoidance, but also being so planned that when a disruption occurs or something out of your control, I know exactly where I'm going and what's going to happen next. And the kids do too, from reading the schedule at the start of the day, that if there is an interruption or a pause, if you know where you're going and you're so thoroughly planned and organized, it won't throw you off.
Right.
Like you can jump right back into it.
Right. So like if a fire drill hits, you go out to the fire drill, but when you come back, you and your kids know exactly what to do next.
And your supplies are always prepped, ready to go at the start of each day. So there's just no scrambling for something or, yeah.
So you're not a last minute planner.
No, no. I walk out at the end of each day. I don't even leave before my schedule's rewritten on the board. All of my ELA documents are laid on the counter next to my teaching space so that I can just come in and be ready. Yeah.
Great. So your school is one of our 4 schools that's piloting our core connections, integrated scope and sequence. And tell us a little bit about how that impacts your use of instructional time in your classroom, or has it had an impact?
I don't know that it has an impact. It's just a great organizational document. Like a scope and sequence or mapping of any kind allows you to sit down and then thoroughly map out, integrate different content areas where you see that can happen. And if anything, I think that it helps you to plan intentionally and make the connections between the different subject areas. So I've always worked off a scope and sequence of some kind. It's always nice to know where you've been, where you're going, and it just makes it more purposeful. But if anything, I think it just is more helpful to a teacher.
Good.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to a new teacher about maximizing instructional time?
I would say, like, enjoy the planning part of it. Like when I sit down, I'm always a week ahead planned. But I really enjoy, like, just sitting with my planner and sitting with all my, science, social studies, reading, writing, and then thoughtfully thinking about every moment of our day and how I want to also make that engaging for my students so that we're not just jumping from one thing to another, to another, but there's actually purpose and meaning behind everything we're doing all day long because it embeds organization. It embeds your kids feeling successful, feeling ready to go, knowing what's coming next. But I really enjoy just making thoughtful decisions for our days.
I bet too that when you're organized and intentional and kids know the routine, I bet that brings down behavior problems a lot.
Yeah, because I feel the more relaxed I am, the more relaxed the tone and the feel is of the room. And then I also feel like I have opportunities to make more connections with my students, have a quick relational conversation as they come in off the bus to tell me a story. And while I'm aware of the time, I always feel like I have time to also listen and share stories and, just be with my little people.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts today. We appreciate your expertise, and thanks for being a guest on TandL Talks.
Thank you.
Well, that's a wrap on today's conversation about maximizing instructional minutes. We hope you've picked up some strategies to help make every moment in your classroom count. But don't worry, we've got even more. There's so much more to explore when it comes to using time effectively. We'll be back next time with a team from Pope, and we'll dive even deeper into practical strategies and real-life examples. In our next episode, we'll be exploring more real-life teacher-tested strategies for making every second count and how to make sure your classroom is fun and engaging while also maintaining a strong focus on core content. So be sure to tune in for our next episode. And in the meantime, if you've got a great tip for maximizing instructional time, we would love to hear from you. Send us a message or just share your thoughts on your grade level collaboration space on Teams. Thanks for joining us today. And as always, thank you for everything you do for students. We'll see you next time on TandL Talks.